Please be seated. The record will show the presence of the jury, the defendant, and all counsel. The defense may call its next witness.
The defense calls Lisa Daydoni. Can you spell your last name?
Yeah, D-A-I-D-O-N-E.
Raise your right hand. You do solemnly swear the testimony you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes.
Thank you.
Please walk around and have a seat. You may proceed.
Good morning, Ms. Daydoni. Can you give us your name, please?
Yeah, Lisa Daydoni.
And what's your maiden name?
Andrews.
So are you married now?
Yes.
And who are you married to?
Dominic Daydoni.
And how long have you been married?
About 2.5 years.
What do you do for a living?
I work for Prudential Insurance as a short-term disability claim manager.
Okay. Are you on leave right now?
Yes.
For what?
Parental leave. I had a baby 4 months ago.
Okay, congratulations.
Thank you.
I want to talk to you. How old are you right now?
I am 25.
25, okay. I want to talk to you a little bit about Travis Alexander, okay? Did you know him?
Yes.
Now, originally, you and Travis, did you meet at church?
Yes, we did.
Through church activities?
Yes.
And were you both in a singles ward?
Yes.
Can you describe for me what that means, a singles ward?
Yeah, it's just a place where members of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints would go. I started going when I was 18. That's the age you would start going. And then there are single members that go up until their age 30. When they turn 31 is when they would go to a different ward.
Okay, so a singles ward, I assume if somebody gets married, then they would not be in the singles ward anymore?
Correct.
Okay. So in other words, you wouldn't be in a singles ward now?
Correct.
Okay. What's the age difference between you and Travis?
A little over 10 years.
All right, so you said you started when you were 18?
Mm-hmm.
Is that a yes?
Yes, sorry. Yes.
That's okay. Were you 18 when you first met Travis?
I believe so.
Okay.
I'm sorry, I don't know exactly when I met him the first time, but yes, that's when I started going to the singles ward, and I know just from knowledge that he was in the singles ward when I was 18.
Okay.
So probably met in passing at some time.
Okay. And about how many people were in the singles ward?
I don't know. I mean, 200 to 300. I really don't know the exact amount or anything.
Okay. But we're talking in the hundreds, right?
Yes.
So it's not just 20 people.
Correct.
And so when you first met Travis, then he would have been around 28 or 29?
Yes.
How long did you guys know each other? Well, did you know each other at all before you started dating?
Yes. Probably, about a year before we started seeing each other just one-on-one. We'd see each other in large groups for about a year.
And is that, you'd see each other like in church activities type thing?
Yes.
During this year, did you ever go to his house for any of the movie nights and things
Yes.
like that? And is that before you were dating?
Yes.
And how would you classify,
that year before you started dating, how would you classify your relationship with Travis? Were you acquaintances? Were you friends?
I would say we were friends.
Friends?
Yes.
Okay. Did you talk to him very often?
Occasionally, yes. At those gatherings, never really, it wasn't until later that we became, started texting or talking on the phone.
Is that how when your relationship started to develop more?
Yes.
Now, before you dated Travis, you were dating someone by the name of Steve Bell?
Yes.
And how long did you date Steve Bell?
About 4 months.
And that was, so you dated Mr. Bell for a total of 4 months?
Yes.
Okay. And that was about how long before you officially started dating Travis?
From the time I broke up with Steve until I started dating Travis was about 6 months.
Okay. And during the time that after you broke up with Steve, or Mr. Bell, to the time that you officially started dating Travis, those 6 months, those are the time when you would still classify your relationship as a friend with Travis?
Yes.
Okay. And did you have any more contact with Mr. Bell?
Yes, occasionally.
Okay. And was Mr. Bell a part of the church?
Yes.
So he's also Mormon?
Yes.
I think the first time that you, well, I guess mostly for that year while you were just friends with Travis, you were, did you hang out mostly in groups with him?
Yes.
One of the first times that you did something alone with him, was that after you had just lost a job?
Yes. Oh, sorry.
Overruled.
And did he talk to you about PPL?
Yes.
Was that a suggestion for a job for you?
Yes.
Did you ever get involved in PPL?
No.
And by PPL, I mean prepaid legal.
Yes.
Okay.
I understand.
All right. Now, overall, when you started dating Travis, you dated him for about, a total of about 8 months?
Sustained.
How long did you date Travis for?
I would say about 7 to 8 months.
Okay. And about when did you start?
Roughly July of 2007.
All right. And so when did you break up?
Middle to end of February of 2008.
All right. And go ahead. I just wanted you to be able to do that. When you were dating each other, did you email with each other?
Yes.
Did you text with each other?
Yes.
Did you instant message?
Yes.
And did you also call each other?
Yes.
The old-fashioned way?
Yes.
Okay. And besides that, then, did you also go on dates with him?
Yes.
At the time that you were dating him, did you have an email address, lisa.andrews87?
Overruled.
That means you can answer.
Oh, yes.
All right. And when you were dating Travis, was it kind of what kind of relationship was it?
We had broken up a few times and gotten back together a few times.
Okay. So would you classify it as on and off?
Yes.
And when you broke up, who did the breaking up?
Usually it was me.
And during the times that you broke up with him, did he continue to text you afterwards?
Sometimes, yes.
All right. And did you end up start talking to each other again?
Yes.
And that would be until the final breakup, right?
Correct.
And after the final breakup around the end of February, did you have contact with him after that?
I did after the final breakup for a little bit.
Okay. When you first started dating Travis, let's see, how old were you?
When we first started dating, I was 19.
All right. And did he get really serious on you?
Yeah, he started talking about marriage fairly early.
Okay. I mean, he started talking about marriage how early? Within a couple of months or how long?
Probably. I can't remember exactly, but earlier than I was comfortable with at age 19.
Okay. And were you concerned about just turning 18 and then having the thought of getting married right away?
Objection, B.
Sustained.
Did you want to get married at that point in time?
Not at that point in time.
Why not?
I felt like I was too young and immature, and I needed time to live my life before I was tied down to be married.
All right. And did you tell these things to Travis?
Yes.
Is that one of the one reasons why you broke up with him the first time?
I wouldn't say that would be the reason the first time, but in later conversations, I would say that was the main reason we broke up the second time.
Okay. Let's talk about the first time that you broke up. What was the reason for that?
I came to the understanding that he was cheating on me.
Do you know who he was cheating with?
Yes.
Who's that?
Jodi, Arias.
And how did you learn that?
A former roommate of his had told my sister, who then told me.
Okay, so Mr. Alexander didn't tell you that?
No.
And did you confront him about that?
After I had broken up with him, yes.
All right. And after you broke up with him, did he continue to text you or email you?
Yes.
And was he persuasive about trying to get back together with you?
Yeah, I mean, in the way that he said he still cared about me.
And was he persistent, would you say?
Yes.
And eventually, did you get back together with him?
Yes.
And when you got back together with him, about how was your relationship at that point?
It was better. We had addressed a lot of the concerns that I had at the beginning. He explained that he wasn't.
Objection, hearsay.
Sustained.
All right. Did you feel that you could trust him at that point?
Yes.
And so did you feel comfortable getting back into a relationship with him?
Yes.
About how long were you in a relationship with him until you broke up with him again?
I don't remember.
Okay. Can you say whether it was months or days?
I would say months.
Okay. And so then what was the second reason that you broke up with him? What was the reason that you broke up with him for the second time?
He was getting more serious about marriage, and I wasn't ready for that.
Okay. And at this point, Travis would have been about 29 or 30?
I believe he was 30 by this point.
Okay. And in the Mormon religion, how is 30 an older age to not be married, or how is that looked upon?
In my opinion,
Uh-huh.
yes.
Okay. Is that how you were raised to believe?
I guess, yeah.
Okay. All right. And did Travis express to you that he was concerned about being older and not married?
Maybe. I don't know exactly. But I mean, he was concerned that he wasn't married yet. He wanted to be married.
Okay.
I don't know if it was exactly because of his age or just where he was in his life. That was one of his goals. He wanted to be married.
Okay. And was he telling you that he wanted to marry you?
Yes.
Objection, hearsay.
Judge is not for the truth of the matter asserted.
Overruled. You may answer.
Yes.
And so is this something that it got to the point that it concerned you to the point that you broke up with him?
Objection, leading.
Sustained.
Did you break up with him?
Yes.
And why did you do that for the second time?
I broke up with him because I felt that if he felt like he was in a point in his life that he did want to be married, he should explore other options because I was not ready at that point.
All right. And is that what you told him?
Yes.
And was this around December of 2007, would you say?
Objection, leading.
Sustained.
Do you remember when this was?
Not exactly. I would say maybe end of November, maybe early December. I'm not sure.
Okay. And at this point during your relationship, were you telling him that you loved him?
I believe so.
All right. And was he telling you that he loved you?
Yes.
And at this point now, that this, I guess the second part of, after the first breakup, before the second, did you believe that your relationship was exclusive?
Yes.
All right, so do you believe that you were you going to date anybody else?
No.
Okay, and did you believe that whether Travis was dating anyone else?
I believed it was exclusive between the two of us.
Okay.
It's monogamous.
All right. Did you know that he still had contact with Miss Arias?
Yes.
And did you know that he was in contact with another woman, Deanna Reed?
Yes.
And how did he contact them? Did you know?
A lot of it was phone calls and text messages, and I knew there were emails as well.
All right. And this was happening at the same time that, were you dating him at this time?
Yes.
And this was after the first breakup?
Yes.
And did you know that these were women that he had previously dated?
Yes.
But at this point, did you think that they were romantically involved at all?
No.
And he never told you that, right?
Sustained.
Did he ever tell you that he was texting these women that, and by the way, I'm also involved with them romantically?
No, he never said they were involved romantically.
Okay. At a certain point, though, did this kind of wear on your relationship?
Yes.
Okay. Why did it?
I felt that if we were to be in an exclusive relationship, he nor I should be texting or calling members of the opposite sex as often as they had done.
Okay. And did you ever have, at some point, did you ever have suspicions that he might have been cheating again?
Yes.
At the time that you were dating Travis, did you ever take any trips with him?
No.
Did you feel...
Well, I'm sorry. Yes, I just remembered just one.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Where did you go?
We went to Sedona.
Oh, okay. Was that an overnight trip?
No, it was just a day trip.
All right. In your religion, Travis was a Mormon also, right?
Correct.
Okay. In your religion, how is it looked upon for two single people to go on an overnight trip together?
It doesn't look very good.
All right. And did you come to find out that Travis took trips with Jodi?
Yes.
And what time period was that? Do you know?
Like as far as a month or anything? Or what do you mean?
Was it during the time that you were still dating Travis?
Yes.
And did you know where they went?
A few of the times, yes.
Oh, where were those?
Sustained.
And did he go on several trips then, as far as you understand?
I believe I knew of two.
Okay. And both of the, did he ever ask you to go?
No.
To your understanding, were these overnight trips?
Objection, here's
Sustained.
Judge, it's not for the truth of the matter asserted.
Approach.
Day donate. Was it your understanding that Travis took Jodi on overnight trips?
Yes.
Okay. At some point, was it after your relationship with Travis that you confronted him about these trips?
No, at some points it was during.
Okay. So did you ever tell Travis that you found out about these trips?
Yes.
All right. And did he explain it to you in a way that you thought that you felt it was an innocent trip?
Objection, reading, hearsay.
I'm leading so that there's no hearsay.
Overruled. You may answer.
I'm sorry, could you repeat the question?
Sure. Did he explain it to you in a way that you felt that it was an innocent trip?
Yes.
Okay. I want to talk a little bit about what you know about Jodi Arias, okay?
Okay.
Do you remember when you first met her or would have seen her?
I don't remember the exact time, but it was at, I believe it was at a church activity, a family home evening night.
Okay. And family home evening, is that something that the singles ward would do also?
Yes.
And I think I asked you earlier about going to Travis's house for cookies and movie nights. Would those be nights like family home evening nights?
They would be somewhat similar. However, the family home evening was actually sponsored by the church and was a church activity, and the other activities at Travis's house were just friends getting together.
Oh, okay. Okay. So did you meet Jodi the first time you saw her?
I believe so.
Okay. And when you first met her, to your knowledge, were she and Travis dating?
When I had spoken with her, she said that.
Objection, hearsay.
Did you come to find out that she was dating Travis?
Objection, hearsay.
Overruled. You may answer yes or no.
I'm sorry, could you repeat the question?
Did you come to find out that Travis and Jodi were dating when you first met Jodi?
Objection, hearsay, the question includes the hearsay.
Overruled. You may answer yes or no.
I'm sorry, there were differing stories, so I don't know what I understood at the time. I understood they were not dating.
Objection.
I'm sorry.
It's okay. You understood that they were not dating?
Correct.
Okay. Did you ever learn that they had dated?
Yes.
Okay. And when you saw, were there different times that you saw Jodi and Travis together?
Yes.
Was that always in a public setting?
No, there was a time or two at his home.
Okay. And when those times at his home, were there other people around?
Yes.
About how many people? Like a small gathering or a larger gathering?
It would depend. I'm sure on one occasion it was a smaller gathering, one that I can recall.
Okay. And what would you include to be a smaller? How many people would you say in a smaller?
10 to 15 people.
Okay. So during the times that you saw Travis and Jodi together, did you ever see Travis being affectionate with Jodi?
No.
Did you ever see Jodi try to be affectionate with Travis?
Yes.
Did you see her trying to hold his hand?
Yes.
And did you see Travis do things like push her aside?
No.
Or brush her hand aside is what I mean.
I don't recall that.
Okay. Did you ever see basically him not reciprocating the affection?
Yes.
And as an example, I guess, did you ever see like her do something like try and reach for him and him just walk away?
I'm not sure of that example, but I did see her trying to, like you said, show affection, and he did not show it back.
Okay. And when we talk about showing affection, what do you mean? What kind of things was she doing?
I do remember one particular time at his house, he was trying to talk to the large group of people the smaller 10 to 15 people that were at his house, entertaining guests, and she, as he was talking to everyone, she would be all over him and hugging on him and have our arms around him while he was talking to everyone else, and he did not reciprocate that.
Okay. And during this time that you first met Jodi and Travis, I guess, would this have been in the time frame before you and Travis dated?
Yes.
So would that have been before July of 2007?
Yes.
And when did you join the singles ward?
The summer after I graduated high school in 2006, so I would have gone in June of 2006.
Okay, so do you have an idea of what the time frame was when you first met Jodi?
I don't.
Okay, but based on what we know with you joining the singles ward and when you dated Travis, do you agree it would have been somewhere between July of 2006 to July of 2007?
Objection leading.
Oh, to me answer.
Yes.
While you were dating Travis, he always professed.
Objection lack of foundation, which started, we broke up many times.
Sustained.
During all 3 times that you dated Travis during this 8 months of on and off relationship, you never had sexual relations with him, in other words, intercourse, right?
Correct.
And did he always profess to be a virgin?
Objection, hearsay leading.
Sustained.
Did you want to have? Well, let me ask you this. After he died, you learned that he was not a virgin, right?
Objection, relevance. And hearsay.
At some point, were you shocked to learn that Travis actually was not a virgin?
I'm going to object to the form of the question. I believe that wasn't the question. Should have been posed.
I think that's what we discussed.
Approach.
Okay, Ms. Dadoni, let me ask this. After Travis's death, were you shocked to learn that he was not a virgin?
Yes.
Throughout your relationship with him, did you always feel like you were doing the right thing?
Objection leading relevance as to how she felt.
Did you feel?
Overruled, you may answer.
Could you repeat the question?
Sure. Did you always feel that you were doing the right thing with regard to premarital sex?
Yes.
Okay. All right. I want to talk to you a little bit more about one of the times with Travis. Did you say earlier that you and Travis used to email quite a bit?
Yes.
And text also?
Yes.
And at times did you email Travis things about your relationship?
Yes.
Judge, may I approach?
Yes.
Can I ask you to review? Can I ask you to review that? You see the email address at the top?
Yes.
All right. Is that an email from you?
Yes.
And who is that email to?
To Travis Alexander.
Do you see the date at the top?
Yes.
When is that?
Sunday, the 23rd of September, 2007.
All right. Do you recognize that?
Yes.
All right. Judge Mary Poach.
You may.
And what I showed you for the record is exhibit, what's been marked as exhibit number 385. You remember writing this email?
Yes.
Okay. Judge, defense would move to enter exhibit number 385 into evidence.
Objection hearsay.
Approach.
All right, so I know you got to see the email just a little bit ago. I'm going to ask you some questions about that email, okay?
Okay.
Do you remember in this email that you were talking to Travis about breaking up?
Yes.
And that was it the right thing to do?
Yes.
And did you hope that he came to the same
I'm not
conclusion?
objecting, she's actually just reading it. That's not what was discussed.
I'm not reading it.
All right, complete your question.
Did you hope that he came to the same conclusion?
Yes.
So that he would not continue. Why did you hope that he would come to the same conclusion?
Because I thought it was the right decision to break up, and that, I don't know, you don't want to talk to people after you break up with them, right?
Okay. Did you not want him to text or email you anymore then?
Not at that time, no.
Did you talk to him about the way you felt starting off the relationship,
Yes.
and that you started off wrong?
Yes, that's in the email.
Did you feel that way because you thought you might have tempted him to kiss? You thought that you might have tempted him to kiss you too soon.
Yes.
Did you talk to him about the fact that you both were making out for too long?
Yes.
And by making out, what do you mean?
Kissing.
Okay. I just want to be clear. And did you talk to him about how each time that you made out, it progressively got worse?
Yes.
Did you talk to him about when you used to make out with him in the beginning, you didn't think about sex?
Yes.
But eventually, it would creep into your mind?
Yes.
And was that something that you were not comfortable with?
Correct.
Did you talk to him about that you knew that sex was on his mind from the very beginning?
Yes.
Did you tell him that you took complete responsibility for not respecting the priesthood?
Yes.
Did you feel like it was your fault?
I felt it was a mutual thing.
Oh, mutual, okay. Did you talk to him about that whether you should have done a better job to keep his thoughts clean?
Yes.
Did you feel that that was your responsibility to keep his thoughts clean?
I felt, again, it was a mutual thing. Both of us were taking part in making out for what I felt was too long and too passionately, I suppose. And so both of us should have taken a step back.
Okay. Did you talk to him about that sometimes you felt that he wanted you just for your body?
I did say that in the email.
And that your kisses didn't mean anything to him?
I did say that in the email.
That you felt that it was a way for him to let out some sexual tension
I did say that in the email.
that he had so much of?
Again, I said that.
Did that make you feel used and dirty?
I did say that in the email.
And that if he truly cared for you, did you tell him that it wouldn't have been about passion and lust?
I did say that.
Do you remember telling him that you had previously told him to not grab your butt?
Yes.
And especially not in public?
Yes.
But that he persisted in doing it?
Yes.
Did it make you feel like he wasn't really listening to you?
At the time, yes.
You talked to him about words that you didn't use because he didn't like it?
Yes.
Were there certain words that he didn't want you to use?
Yes.
What kind of words?
He did not like the words poop or crap or fart.
Okay, I'm sorry that you said that. I'm sorry I asked. But, okay, so he didn't like those words. And did you refrain from saying those words for him?
Yes.
All right. And, um, but yet, did you ask him not to talk about sex so much?
Yes.
But he didn't, he did anyway, right?
Yes.
Did you feel like it's like he didn't care about how you felt, how your feelings were?
At the time, yes.
Did you tell him that you thought it was vulgar and unattractive when a man talks about sex as much as he did?
I did say that in the email.
And did you tell him that you know he wants it, meaning sex, but he needs to be patient?
I did say that in the email.
Is that because you believe that he had not had any sex before?
That's correct.
Did you tell him that he'll get his turn someday?
Yes.
Did you tell him that there were times when you felt that he was trying to mold you to be a certain way that he wanted?
Yes.
And that you felt that he was pushing you too much to be something that he wanted you to be?
Yes.
Did you feel that he didn't appreciate you for who you were at the time?
Yes. And I feel like this is all coming out of context, so I'm trying to just answer their questions the best I can, but...
Do you need a copy of it? Would that make it better?
Yeah.
Okay, sure. May I approach, Judge?
Yes.
There you go.
Thank you.
Thank you for telling me that, because I didn't know if you would remember. But by all means. I'm on page 2. Did you tell him, and I'm on the top paragraph, did you tell him that you felt like he wanted you to be happy for him,
Yes.
but that you didn't feel that he reciprocated that to you?
Yes, I did say that in the email.
That he asked for compliments often?
Yes.
That it would make it almost impossible for you to keep giving them and be sincere?
Yes.
Did you talk about your trip to Sedona with him?
Objection, relevance.
Overruled, you may answer.
Yes, I did.
And did you feel like he wasn't paying attention to you on that trip?
At times, yes.
Did you tell him that?
Yes.
And did he snap back at you that you should be grateful?
I don't believe he said you should be grateful. In the email, out of my frustration, I inferred that's what he was saying to me, but I don't believe he ever said those words.
Oh, okay. All right. So, but during the trip to Sedona, did you tell him that he wasn't paying attention to you, or that you were worried he was on the phone too much?
Yes.
Okay. And did he comment back to you that,
Objection, hearsay.
Sustained.
Judge, may we approach? Well, actually, that's okay. That's okay. Did you talk about a time when you got home from California and he got home from Vegas?
Objection, relevance.
Approach. May continue.
All right, and when you were talking to him about the time that you met, after you both had just gotten home from out of state, did you tell him about your concerns that you made out too intensely?
Yes.
Did you also tell him that you thought you were part to blame for that?
Yes.
Did you tell him that you don't think that you have enough to agree upon with each other to be a family?
Objection, relevance.
Approach.
Did you express concern that you didn't share the same values?
Yes.
And did you feel that he shot your values down? The values that you embraced, he would shoot down?
At the time, yes.
And that was before you can even express how you really felt?
Yeah, sometimes, yes.
Did you tell him that it hurt your feelings when he told you that being a teacher is, if that's what you want to do with your life, but I think it sucks?
Objection, relevance, hearsay.
Council approach. May continue.
Did you talk to Travis about your goal of wanting to become a teacher?
Yes.
And he didn't support you in that, did he?
Not at that time.
And how did that make you feel?
Not good.
Did it hurt your feelings?
Yeah.
Did you not feel supported by someone that you were supposed to be loved by?
Yes.
And when you wrote this email, it was he gone for a couple of days prior to this email? I'm looking at the second paragraph.
No, I wrote this email. I had seen him that day when I wrote this email.
Okay, but prior to writing the email, I guess, had he been gone for a couple of days that month?
Are you referencing a
A
paragraph?
trip to Havasupai.
Okay, where is that located?
Page 3, second paragraph.
I don't know if that was like right before the email or when in relation to this email it was, but yes, he did go on a trip.
Okay, that's all I was asking.
Okay.
That he had been away for 4 days?
Yes.
Okay. And did that give you time to think, being apart from him?
Yes.
Did you tell him that you had been stressed out about certain things, but he didn't seem to be interested in your problems? Third paragraph.
Third paragraph. Yes, I did.
And did that hurt your feelings?
Yes.
Did you tell him that he overreacted about a lot of things? Having to do with your trip, you say? His trip?
Yes. In regards to his Havasupai trip, yes.
Okay, and what did you mean by that?
I don't remember what happened on his trip exactly, but I think just one thing after another went wrong. I don't recall the specific instance, but something like they had car troubles and then this happened and so said, you know, something about the trip not being good or something. And so it was just a lot of snowball effect. His trip didn't go well, I suppose.
Okay. And so in the email, are you telling him that you thought he was overreacting to those things going wrong with his trip?
Yes.
And that when he overreacted, that was not attractive to you?
Yes.
And then in bold letters, you said that he didn't tell you that Jodi went with him on that trip, right?
Correct.
Did you suspect it?
Yes.
And because you suspected, did you ask him?
I don't know. I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I was just going to say, I don't know if I asked specifically if Jodi was going, but I know I asked, who's going on the trip with you?
Okay. He didn't tell you, Jodi.
Correct.
And so because he didn't tell you that Jodi was going on the trip, you trusted that she wasn't going.
Correct.
Did you feel that he intentionally hid it from you, that she was on the trip?
Yes.
Did you tell him that you thought he was being selfish when he wanted to have conversations with you late at night and you were too tired to talk?
Yes, I did say that at the time.
Did you tell him that you thought that he was ignoring some of your phone calls?
Yeah, at one instance, yes.
Do you remember, was he on the trip at the time that he was ignoring your calls? Do you know what that refers to?
No, it was, we were going to go on a camping trip with our singles ward, and I was with the friends that we were going to be driving up with, and he was late, and we tried calling to see what was going on, and he didn't answer phone calls.
Okay. Did you talk to him about that he got upset with you because you wouldn't let him lay on you when he was car sick?
When I was car sick?
I'm sorry. Yes.
Yeah,
when you
I
were car
wasn't.
sick.
I wasn't feeling well, and he wanted to like cuddle in the car, and I wasn't feeling well, and yeah,
And did he get upset about that?
yeah,
And did you tell him that you thought that his frustration was visible and immature?
yes,
And did you tell him that you didn't feel that you deserved to be treated that way?
yes,
And that behavior seemed to continue throughout the rest of the campout?
yes,
And then it seems that, did you go over to his house on a Saturday where you actually got along? Did you talk about that?
yes. I talked about that in the email.
Okay. And you felt that things were better between the two of you?
Yes,
But then did you have some more time to think about it? Did you tell him that you had more time to think about it?
yes. I told him that in the email.
Okay. Did you tell him that you were sick of hearing about Jodi Arias?
Yes,
And when he talked about Jodi often enough, is that when you began to suspect that he was still seeing her?
I don't recall when.
Okay. Did you tell him that you were sick of hearing about her?
Yes,
Okay. And then did you tell him that that's when you began to suspect?
yeah. It's quoted there in the email. Yes,
Okay. And that he told you nothing was going on,
yes,
but something inside of you felt otherwise?
yes. And that something inside of me was actually his roommate had told me.
Oh.
And I had promised his roommate that I would not say anything because his roommate was afraid he might have a bad interaction with Travis at the time, just a fight or something.
Okay. So you didn't want to give up the roommate. That's how you knew?
Yeah.
Okay. Were you upset telling him that what woman would hold on so long without any sense of reassurance?
Yes.
Were you talking about Jodi?
I think I was talking about both of us.
Oh, okay. And did you tell him that if he really cared about you, that he would tell Jodi to back off?
Yes.
And regardless of their past?
Yes.
Did you tell him that you feel you can't trust him anymore?
Yes, at that time I did say that.
And that you felt that at this point that your relationship could go no further?
Yes.
Did you tell him that to please not to respond?
Yes.
Did you tell him that you felt cheated and lied to?
Yes.
And did you tell him that you didn't wish to hear anything more?
Yes.
Now this was in September of 2007, right?
Yes.
But when did you actually have the final breakup between you and Travis?
February, mid to late February of 2008.
So after this email, did you still continue to talk with him?
Yes.
And that was that by texting?
It was all of the above.
Oh, okay. Texting, calling, and
Emailing, instant message, in person.
Okay. So did you continue to see him then?
Yes.
Were you separated at all for any period of time after this email?
Yes.
How long?
I don't know, maybe a couple weeks.
Okay. And during that couple weeks separation, did you have any contact with him at all?
I'm not sure.
All right. And then eventually, did he start contacting you?
Yes.
And did he feel badly about the breakup?
Yes.
And did you feel that he was kind of clingy to you?
I would interpret it more as he was trying to show that he cared and that he wanted to talk about the things that I had mentioned here, and at least if we couldn't date any longer, he would be okay with that as long as he could address some of these issues that I said out of anger.
Okay. Do you have any idea about how long it took you to write this email?
No.
And after you sent this email, did you contact him at all the next day or anything like that?
I'm not sure. I don't think so.
Okay. Did you ever contact him shortly after this email to say, I'm sorry, I take it all back?
No. But when we had spoken about it, I felt these issues were all resolved.
Okay. And so once you felt the issues were resolved, is that when you started dating again?
Yes.
And it was about a couple of weeks?
Yeah, something like that.
Okay. And so I guess based on the timing of this email, then we would be into what, October or November? That you started dating again?
Probably October.
Okay. And just so I have timeline-wise, what breakup is this?
This is the first.
This is the first one,
Yeah.
okay. And so then, by October, November, you're back together again, is that right?
Yeah, October.
October, okay. And then in December, is that when you have the second breakup?
Yeah, late November or early December.
Okay. And is that second breakup because he was too serious with you?
Yeah, he wanted marriage and I did not.
Okay. And how long when you broke up was it December that you broke up in?
Late November or early December. I'm not
sorry,
sure.
I'm sorry, I keep getting that. All right, so late November or early December. Were you separated for any period of time?
I'm not sure. Maybe. I don't know.
Would it have been as long as the first breakup separation?
I don't think so. Neither of us were out of town during that time, I don't think.
Okay. What do you mean neither of us were out of town?
Like for the first breakup, shortly after, he had gone on a trip somewhere, I'm not sure where, and I had gone somewhere with my sister and our roommate. So I know we were separated as far as at least a state apart for that time. So
Okay.
I'm not sure as far as the second breakup.
Oh, okay. With the second breakup, do you know if you had maintained any kind of separation by way of text messages and emails?
I don't think so.
Okay. So did he continue to text with you?
Yeah, but it was definitely reciprocated by me. We still loved each other. It was just we were in different places.
Right. Okay. And so both of you were talking to each other?
Yes.
And when was the final breakup?
Mid to late February
Of 2008.
of 2008, yes.
Okay. And did you do the final breakup?
That was somewhat more mutual.
Okay. Judge, this might be a good time.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to take the noon recess at this time. Please be back in the designated area at 1:25. Actually, now that you have your key cards, you can let yourself back into the jury room. Just be back there by 1:25. Remember the admonition. Are there any questions? Have a nice lunch. You are excused.